Hi everybody, it's Ronnie with Whip and Chain. I work with Maggie to bring you these beautiful crochet tutorials. Today we got a cute one. Look at this. Fingerless gloves. I'm going to show you how to make these. These work up actually in a few hours. You can actually make a couple pairs in one day. So let's dive into it and see how simple it is. Okay, we're going to make these super beginner friendly, fun, adorable little fingerless gloves. Now, I'm using my stash. If anybody's been following me at all, you will know I am trying to bust up my stash. So the yarn that I'm using, unfortunately, I don't know why they discontinued it. I can't find it anywhere. If you can, more power to you. Please let me know. But the label's ripped, but it's Red Heart Heat Wave. Like, I love this yarn, so I don't know the reason, but this is what I'm using. The color that I used was red. It's called Luggage. But I'm going to suggest any 4-ply acrylic yarn. I would not ever suggest cotton for this project. I just don't think cotton would work up well, but that's just my 2 cents. You do what you think is right for you. Using a 5mm crochet hook. And I am going to strongly recommend stitch markers. So now my gloves have worked out to be about 9 inches long. That is what I'm small. I'm only 5'3". I'm not a real tall, long, person. I'm on the shorter side, and the 9 inches is like freaking awesome for me. I like it. I love it. But you do the length of your chain that you want. Now, if you want to copy exactly off of me, this is the yarn we talked about. If you want to copy exactly off of me, what I did is I chained with my 5mm. I chained, oh, please leave a long tail. It will be your best friend if you do. I chained 37, all right? Figure out which one's what. There we go. So, I look like I'm a mess this morning. It is only 4:45 in the morning here in my house, so I got 3 other people sleeping, and I'm just wide awake. You ever do that? I do, all the time. So let's see if I can get some good light under here for you guys. There we go. All right, let's do our chain, a 37 or whatever chain you want. All right, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll be right back. All right, here's my chain of 37. Okay, so I'm not sure why this light is giving me issues today. I hope you guys can see well. Kind of has me bummed with the light. All right, so now you can use any chain you want, but I am going to strongly recommend that you use these back horizontal bars. It makes closing this project a lot easier. Let me work on this light. I don't like it. All right, I think that's better. Okay, so we're going to use these back horizontal bars, and you're doing a single crochet. Second chain from the hook, you're doing a single crochet all the way down. After you do 2 single crochets, I'm going to ask you, you're really going to want to, please, because you don't want your gloves being lopsided, mark that first stitch. Just mark it and be done with it, and that's that. So we're doing a single crochet, 1 single crochet in every stitch, going all the way down this chain. I would say this is the hardest part of the whole project, getting your first row in. So 1 single crochet in every stitch, and then I'm going to meet you at the end of this to show you what to do next. Okay, don't forget this very last stitch, and I would strongly recommend to check your count. Make sure your chain is 1 less on what you did. All right, really important. So here's your chain. All right. So now, a lot of people will chain one and then start their back loop single crochet. If you want a crisp edging, don't chain one. Don't do it. Don't do it. But here's the trick to knowing where your stitch is. Pull your loop up. Take your stitch marker and put it around the bottom of that loop even before you start your first stitch. I'm telling you, this is the secret of the community here. Put it around the loop. Then you, without chaining one, you go in the back loop of that first stitch and you single crochet. And then just single crochet back loops all the way down so you have your first stitch marked. It'll never be a question of where your stitch is, because when you do it this way, the stitch kind of goes into hiding, and then you're gonna not see the stitch, you're not gonna work the stitch, and then your whole project's gonna be very upsetting to you, and I don't want that for you guys. I want you to be successful. Any trick that I know that I can share with you, guess what? I'm gonna share it. So let's back loop, single crochet all the way down, but don't do the last stitch. I'm going to show you what to do in the very last stitch. Okay, we're on our last stitch. See how it's marked? So you don't have to question it. But always, when you do these rows, always your last stitch, not your first, your last stitch, you're going to go through the full entire stitch. And see, I go through it before I even take the stitch marker out. And then I take the stitch marker out, and then I just put it around the bottom of my loop before I even do anything. Because when we turn our project, oh, I did it wrong. There we go. So when you turn your project, you're not chaining. You're going into, this is what you're going to do your repeat row ever for the rest of the panel that you make. Without chaining, you go into the back loop of that first stitch, right there. Boom. Then back loops all the way down. And then I'm going to meet you at the end to repeat what you do in your last stitch. And I'm going to let you on your own just to keep repeating this row over and over and over. I'll be right back. Okay. Your last stitch, and look, it's marked. See how nice that is? You go right into the full stitch. Every time on your last stitch, do your single crochet, take off your stitch marker, and mark. Go around it, then you turn, do not chain one, and you go right back in to your back loop single crochets. That's what you do for this entire project. Now, I'm going to recommend like 32, 33 rows because you need it to wrap around your arm, but you do as many rows as you need for it to wrap around your arm. I wouldn't do it too loose. And then when you're done, pull your stitch out, leave, I got my pupper's hair, leave your stitch markers in, guys, and leave a tail on both ends. Critical. So now, this is where we ended. So now this is where you want to decide where you want everything. All right. And then count your stitches. Make sure your stitches are exactly where you want. I'm just marking my last stitch. Make sure your stitches are right. Make sure, if anybody wants to know my width that I chose about 7.5 inches. Okay. So now what I do is I take a few more stitch markers. This is just my first stitch. Okay. And you're going to put your hand on it, and you're going to determine where you want this to come up on. All right. I already did one glove, so I know my counts. But do your figuring how far you want it down to your thumb. Now what I did is I did I counted 8 full stitches. So the stitch marker's in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. That counted that stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I put my stitch marker in the 8th stitch. And then I do one more stitch marker. And I count 5. That's the width of my thumb that I want. So I count 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So from this stitch marker up should be a little over an inch, and it is. It's about 1.5. From my thumb is about an inch. The rest of this is your wrist, and that's, you're just going to stitch that up. So you determine, look at that from my dog. You determine what side you want to be the good side. The side that's on the inside is your good side. Those sides are equal to me, so it doesn't really matter. We're going to do stitching. The stitching that I do is not a whip stitch. I think it's like a ladder stitch. I'll show you. So, but it's back loop only. So the piece that's away from you, you're going to use the stitch that's farthest away from you. On the side that's closest to you, you're going to use the stitch, just that one side of the stitch. You're not using the full stitch. So on the piece that's closest to you, the loop that's closest to you is the one we're going to go in. And on the away piece, we're going to use the piece that's farthest away. All right, I had to count my stitches. So we're going to go in that back loop of your very first stitch. Wherever your yarn is, that's the side you go in first. You go in there, wrap it around. Then on the opposite side, you go in that back loop. And that was the reason, whole reason we left our stitch markers in. All right. And then you're done, go to the next stitch on that side that you just came out, the back loop. And then you go across and do the back loop on the bottom side. Once you're done that, you don't need that stitch marker no more. So then you're going to go to the next stitch, back loop, and right across, back loop. And do straight across next stitch, and down. Next stitch, up and up. So do this all the way up to right before the stitch marker. Okay, so when you get up to your stitch marker, I just do an extra loop around to secure it. And then hide your yarn, and I'll be back. All right, so now after you weave in your yarn, the whole reason of leaving the tail on this side is to do that 1.5 inches on the top part. So you're going to do the same thing. Wherever your yarn is, go through the back loop of that stitch. Once you got that stitch, you can definitely take out your stitch marker and then go through the back loop of the other one and do the same stitching down and include the stitch marker. Okay, and just loop around one more time to lock in your stitch. You can take that wonderful stitch marker out and then just hide your yarn, and we'll be back. Okay, after she's done, turn her right side out. And I have, obviously, my second one. And here they are. My doggy here. Work out really good. Well, I'm Ronnie with Whip and Chain. I work with Maggie to bring you these beautiful, beautiful crochet tutorials. Until next time, here at Whip and Chain, it is always a work in progress.